Sikhs maintain distinct articles of faith, including a turban, unshorn hair, and a beard, essential expressions of our religious identity. These articles of faith and my experience serving in uniform are what bring me before you today. I knew I would face a painful choice to cut my hair or remove my turban because at the time, the Marine Corps, unlike other branches, had not made meaningful progress towards accommodations for members of the Sikh faith.
ਅੱਜ ਅਮਰੀਕੀ ਮਰੀਨ ਕੋਰਪਸ ਦੇ ਰਿਟਾਇਰਡ ਕੈਪਟਨ ਸੁਖਬੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੂਰ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੋਲੀਜ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਵੀ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ US ਰਿਲੀਜੀਅਸ ਲਿਬਰਟੀ ਕਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲ ਰੱਖੀ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਦੇ ਕੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਸਿੱਖ ਫੇਥ ਦੇ ਆਰਟੀਕਲਸ, ਦਸਤਾਰ, ਦਾੜੀ ਅਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀਆਂ ਸੇਵਾ ਦੇ ਰਾਹ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੜਿੱਕਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਟਾਇਆ ਜਾਵੇ, ਸਗੋਂ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਿਰਦਾਰ ਅਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਫਰਜ਼ ਪ੍ਰਤੀ ਵਫਾਦਾਰੀ ਦੀ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀ ਹਨ। ਕੈਪਟਨ ਤੂਰ ਨੇ ਅਮਰੀਕੀ ਫੌਜ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿੱਖ ਸੈਨਿਕਾਂ ਲਈ ਧਾਰਮਿਕ ਆਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਅਤੇ ਪੂਰੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਅਕਮੋਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਜਾਰੀ ਰੱਖਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ 'ਤੇ ਰੋਸ਼ਨੀ ਪਾਈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੰਦੇਸ਼ ਸਧਾਰਨ ਪਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਤਾਕਤਵਰ ਸੀ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੀ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਸਮਰੱਥਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਦਿਲ ਅਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿਧਾਂਤਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਜਵਾਨ ਇਸ ਫਰਜ਼ ਲਈ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਤਿਆਰ ਹਨ।
My name is Sukhbir Singh Toor. I'm a resident of Dayton, Ohio. I served as an artillery officer in the United States Marine Corps from 2016 until my medical retirement this year, ultimately achieving the rank of captain. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today on the issues of religious freedoms in the U.S. Armed Forces. I'm a Sikh, a follower of the world's fifth largest organized religion. Sikhism is a monotheistic independent faith founded in the 15th century in India. Sikhs maintain distinct articles of faith, including a turban, unshorn hair, and a beard, essential expressions of our religious identity. These articles of faith and my experience serving in uniform are what bring me before you today. From a young age, I knew I wanted to be a Marine. I never saw a conflict between my faith and my calling. Sikhism teaches the concept of saint soldier, someone committed to confronting injustice both morally and physically. For me, the Marine Corps is the most effective fighting force in the world, representing the pinnacle of military excellence. Yet when I chose to serve in 2016, I knew I would face a painful choice to cut my hair or remove my turban because at the time, the Marine Corps, unlike other branches, had not made meaningful progress towards accommodations for members of the Sikh faith. Only years into my career, just before my promotion to captain, did I feel I had proven myself enough to even request a religious accommodation. An accommodation already routinely granted in the Army and the Air Force. Ultimately, it took a lawsuit in 2021 to compel the Marine Corps to recognize the constitutional right of myself and several other Marines, and in doing so, to reinforce those same rights on certain Muslims, Orthodox and Hasidic Jews, and other religious minority groups. I also want to be clear about what happened after I received my accommodation. My ability to lead Marines did not diminish in any way. On the contrary, serving as my full self made me more comfortable, more confident, and more driven to excel. I am living proof that having a Marine with a beard and a turban does not create chaos, undermine unit cohesion, or hinder mission accomplishment. My Marines judge me, as they should, on my competence, my character, my commitment, not the articles of faith I wear. Allowing me to serve authentically strengthened rather than weakened our team. This was not a personal fight for me. It was an American one. No young American from a religious minority should have to choose between their faith and their service to their country, especially when they're willing and able to wear the uniform of the United States Marine Corps. That promise of equal opportunity is not only constitutional, it is quintessentially American. Today, that promise is at risk again. As many of you know, the Department of War is revising grooming and accommodation policies related to beards in the military. On September 30th, Secretary Hegseth announced his desire for, and I quote, "no more beardos," end quote, referring to facial hair, even when religious, as, I quote, "superficial religious expression," end quote. A subsequent memo provided directives that raised significant concern. First, it requires recruits to meet grooming standards before requesting an accommodation, forcing religious minorities to violate their faith in order to request permission not to violate their faith. Second, it calls for the return to pre-2010 standards, a period before the modern era of religious accommodations began, and before the first 2 Sikh officers had received their waivers, one of which, immediately after receiving his waiver, did serve in combat effectively. Third, it proposed limiting religious waivers to non-deployable roles. Depending on how deployable is defined, this could effectively bar minorities from full participation in military operations. Each of these proposals threatens to reverse more than 15 years of progress that allows Sikhs and other religious minorities to serve honorably, capably, and without compromising their identity or beliefs. For these reasons, I respect and urge the Commission to defend the rights of Sikhs and all service members of faith and elevate this respectful request to the highest levels of our government. It is vital that any new policy that the Department of War and the service secretaries preserve fair, constitutional, and functional religious accommodation processes. Thank you for considering my perspective. God bless America, and I look forward to your questions.
So we heard your recommendation in your closing, so we will surely pass that forward. And my dad was a Marine in World War II, and he would be proud of the generation of Marines today.
Oh, really?
So thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes.